I have a OpenTX RadioMaster here, and this video is to explain how to set up your throttle to announce the position via voice. So this is what the video is going to do for you.
11, 26, 38, 58, 71, 82.
So when you move your throttle stick, if you want to know where it is while you're flying, this is going to help you.
93, 43, 5, 0.
Okay, so that's what this is about. It's going to require several screens to set this up. It's not hard, but I'm going to go through the settings. And first thing we'll do is we will create a new model, since this model already has it set up. So let's go into the bar here. I'm going to select model select. I've got a blank model here.
Switch warning.
Okay, so first thing we're going to do is press the MDL button to get into the model. And then we're going to page over to, we're going to jump around a little bit. Let's set up the logical switch first. So we're going to use the forward key to logical switches. And we're going to pick a logical switch. It can be any open value that you've got here. So we'll pick logical switch number 1. Press enter. And this is going to be a logical switch that's going to look like this, but with a D in it for delta. This means delta has changed from the last value. The vertical lines around it mean absolute value. All servo positions on any channel are reported as minus 100 to plus 100. We don't want to deal with the negative numbers, so we're going to use the absolute symbol. So just set this to delta greater than or equal to X. Then press enter. Slide over here and pick your throttle channel as the channel that we want to monitor. So press enter, move the stick. That will set it to throttle. Then over here, I would say have it change the value or announce the value if the stick changes by more than 5 positions or 5 increments. So we'll set it to 5. Okay. And then you have here an AND switch, and duration, and a delay. So we want to go to the duration, and we want to say if the stick has not changed in a half a second. Okay, so as long as the stick has not moved in a half a second, that's going to set the logical switch. So that's the first step you have to do. Okay, so now that we have the logical switch set up, we now have to do a mix. So let's get to the mix menu. And I'm going to pick a channel that's way out there that I know I'm never going to use. So let's pick like channel 25. I just want to pick something that's completely outside the range of a standard receiver. So I'm going to pick channel 25. And again, this can be any open channel you've got. I just like to pick something that in no way would the receiver use as a servo. So we're going to pick channel 25. We're going to go in here, and we're going to go down to the source, press enter, move the throttle stick, so it says throttle, escape out of that, put a weight of 50%. Now you say, what is this about? This is about the fact that the throttle is going to announce negative 100 to positive 100, because basically at center stick it's 0, this is 100, all the way on the top. Anything from 0 down is negative 100. So we want to get rid of the negatives for the announcement. We don't want to hear that our throttle stick is at minus 36. We want to hear from 0 to 100, not minus 35 to plus 55, for example. So now we're going to offset by 50. This is going to neutralize the negative number. Okay, take the trim off so it doesn't get bothered by the trim. And that's all we have to do for the mix. Now we can back out of that. Now let's go over to special functions, because we've set up the logical switch. Special functions, again, pick one that's not being used. In this case, we'll use special function 1. We'll press enter. And now we will pick logical switch number 1, but we need the not condition of it. We want it when the logical switch is off and not being used. So if you were to just long press here and pick logical switches, you don't want that, because we want the exclamation mark in front of it. That means not on. So we have to scroll through here until we find exclamation mark L01. There we go. So now we've got it. We're going to, over here, play a value. And the value that we're playing is the position of the throttle stick. And there it is, play value. Slide over here, press enter, move the throttle. Oh, I'm sorry, don't move the throttle. You want position or mix channel 25. So come over here, look for channel 25, because that's the mix. That's going to give us just positive numbers. Because otherwise, if we announce the throttle, it's going to say, you know, minus 35. We don't want that. So we mix channel 25, which is 0 to 100. And that's it. Now, let's try it.
23, 37, 58, 76, 89, 100, 49, 9, 0.
Okay, so that's how you set up the throttle announcement. You can also get a little bit more fancy if you want. I use a throttle lock position on my transmitter up here. So you may not want to announce the voice of the throttle when you're in lock position. Lock position would be when the airplane's on the bench and you're working on it. So you could go in here and set up an AND condition on the logical switch over here. Press enter on that, and then move this switch around, your throttle lock, and say if the throttle lock is up, meaning throttle lock is unlocked. So let's escape out, move the stick.
48, 71.
It announces it. I'm now going to throttle lock. Say now it does not announce the throttle position. So on the bench, you may not want to hear those numbers going. So that's an easy way to disable the voice. Is just tie it to your throttle lock. It could also be tied to a timer. If you don't use throttle lock, you could tie it to your timer switch. So there's lots of options here you can do on the logical switch. So those are the 3 screens you have to do. So you have to set up a logical switch, you have to set up a mix, and then special functions. Here's a snapshot of the 3 screens that you have to create. This might make it easier to review exactly all the settings that you need.